Hey, welcome to the Doranified channel, guys. Thanks for joining. In this video or this episode, we're going to have the co-host Fred Johnson join me. So let me bring Fred in, and then we're going to have our special guest come in, John Cuppi. So let's get started. And so there we are. Hey, Fred.
What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. Trying to survive the cold up here.
It is cold, isn't it?
Bitter.
So, so what's going on? What did you do today, Fred?
Actually, I went out flying for a little bit.
No way. You did?
I braved the cold and went out.
Oh, man.
When you hit the, I'm kind of new with the FPV thing, so I kind of forgot to hit the DVR button. Really have any footage to share with you.
Well,
I was pretty disappointed when I took it out and put it in the computer and it was blank. I'm sure we've all been there.
Well, that does happen. So I'm having echo issues, so let me resolve that real quick, and let's bring John in while you guys chat. I'll go ahead and here's John Cuppi.
Hey, Al. Hey, Fred. Thanks, guys, for having me.
It's a
Pretty
pleasure.
good, pretty good. You having echo issues, Al. I was just having that as well. You got the stream open in a browser tab by chance? Maybe.
Well, you guys continue to chat. I'll fix this echo issue.
Alrighty. Because I'm not getting any echo from my end.
No, I'm not
I do.
hearing it either. Just occasionally I can hear it. That's it.
So, Fred, I heard you're getting into FPV, and you forgot to hit the DVR button. That happens. That happens a lot to me too.
I thought I had it on auto, like just auto start.
Okay.
I must not have set it right last night.
Well, what are you flying right now then? What's your setup?
Planes mainly.
No, I mean, what's your FPV system? Are you flying analog or
analog? Yeah,
analog right now. Okay.
Only because I'm using the tracker. I didn't really want to get into HD and change everything over and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
So let's rewind a little bit, Fred. So kind of give us a whole progression of what's brought you all the way to this point as far as FPV goes.
Well, I think just kind of the boredom of the GPS drones. They get kind of boring flying them after a while. And just watching everybody else fly, I just kind of have to try it. And I've always been into planes, so now that you can stick a camera on anything, it's just great.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, that's sort of how I gravitated more toward flying FPV over, say, the DJI quads or other camera birds, because it does get a little bit boring per se. You're not flying for the sport of it. You're flying more to get the shot. You're flying more to make a video, to tell a story, that kind of thing. But when you're flying FPV, it's like a big adrenaline rush. You're with the camera birds, it's more like a tool, really. I view my camera birds as more of like a tool for videography. Not that FPV isn't though as well.
No, I kind of feel like with the the camera drones now, if I'm going someplace, I kind of would want to take them that I haven't been or flown. But just flying the same spot over and over and over again, it's just with FPV, it's a little different. You can change it up. You can do different things instead of just going out and back or, looking at the same.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's anything. Really, it's anything you want it to be, right? I mean, if you want to do, long range FPV and take some slow cruising cinematic stuff, you could do that. If you want to go hardcore and do the flips, the rolls, all that stuff, you could do that. You do whatever you want with it. That's what a lot of people. That's what I tell a lot of people. They're like, they see they might see a video and they're like, oh, that's gonna make me sick. I can't do FPV at all. It's like, then you don't have to do that. Don't do that. Just put those goggles on and cruise.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. John, you've been doing a lot of that with your Flywheel Explorer stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I love this thing. This is the little Flywheel Explorer. and this thing will fly for like 20 minutes. You just put a pack on there and cruise. It's just a relaxing experience.
That's about the size I probably want to get into when I build one. That'll be my next project, is to build a drone.
These are the so you're flying bind and fly at the moment then, right?
No, I'm building them. Just
Oh,
just
you're
planes.
okay.
I
So,
got a
so you're
couple of
just only
these.
planes right now then.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Gotcha.
So today I was talking to Fred, and he informed me to see the bird over his head right there. That Adam RC, I think it is. So I know what is that one?
That's the
With
Binary 2.
Oh, okay, that's a Barrier 2. It's a dual-engine plane, and it's got the skids. He took off right from the snow, and so that is so sweet.
That went out
Uh,
about 14, almost 14 kilometers, just with the goggles. No tracker or anything.
Okay, now I got the
Well,
chat open.
I was just over the lake though, so there wasn't any
yeah,
obstruction or
yeah,
anything.
yeah, that's amazing. So I want to go ahead and welcome some of the people who are here. Robbie from Travel Tech 360 is here, and of course we have Idaho Quadcopter. Mark is here,
Yes.
welcome, and we have Akaricho here. Thank you, and Maddie from Drones World is here. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate you guys taking the time to view this live stream. So, John, let's get to the point. I know that we were talking about what is the best beginners FPV gear that you would recommend for somebody?
So, man, Al, that's a really good question, right? Like we were talking about, because there are so many ways that somebody can get started in FPV. Um, it's not really. Well, I mean, if we're being honest, for the most part, the FPV world is not like buying a DJI quad or a GPS camera bird where your controller is set for you, your quad is set for you, and that's it. Like that's the set. It's you can buy it. You can buy a limited number of models as like a bind and fly all in one package. For the most part, there's a lot of assumptions, right? There's digital systems. There's all different radios that you can choose. All different protocols. It's a big mess, right? It's a big mess.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. So the easiest thing to do to tell somebody who just wants to get started and not do a whole lot of thinking about it is I usually will just say get the Emax Tiny Hawk kit, either the Tiny Hawk 2 or the new Tiny Hawk 3. Those come with goggles, a controller, and a drone, and it's all pieced together for you. You don't have to think about binding the drone to the goggles or the controller to the drone. It's all put together for you. A lot of people will buy the separate pieces and then just like fall apart right there because they can't figure out how to bind and set up the remote and all that. So the Tiny Hawk kit is cool because it solves that problem right there. Stops it dead in its tracks. Everything is set up for you.
Kind of like, DJI, right? Where's that? Well, DJI did the same thing, but it
Hmm.
costs you $1,000 to get into the
Right.
game,
Right.
right? So this
That's
FPV drone is, first of its kind with this gimbal right there. That's
yeah.
what makes this drone so nice is that you have this gimbal that goes up
Right.
and down and you can adjust it as you're flying. So you don't have to just, you know, change the
Yeah.
camera because these type of drones, this is the one I just finished building today, guys. So, I actually flew it and tested it. These right here, if I get the camera, you have to
Hmm.
adjust the pitch
Yeah.
on the camera right here yourself before you fly.
Right.
So, and that totally affects me how I fly because if I
Oh,
have a flat angle, oh my gosh, I go
yeah.
slow.
Of course, yeah. I mean, your camera angle is going to affect so much with how you fly. About the DJI FPV, that drone gets a lot. That drone gets a bad rap, okay, in a lot of the traditional FPV realm, for reasons that are understandable. It's not the
Fragile.
most durable drone. It's not just going to break just looking at it. But Al, and most people know that if you crash that thing, decently enough, it's going to have to go back to DJI, and it's going to cost you a good penny to get it repaired and shipped back. So at the end of the day, the DJI FPV is great for, I think, flying, like having an FPV experience with a Mavic like drone, but it will never be a replacement for like a hardcore freestyle drone. Like
Thrasher.
it really just can't, because you got one shot. You got one shot, and if you miss, you fail, it breaks.
Yeah, well,
It's just not acceptable.
This is for 6 millimeter arms,
Yep.
guaranteed to take a beating. I've
Yep.
run into this thing 30 miles an hour straight into a tree by accident,
Yep.
and I
Nothing.
bounced off it and it didn't even hit the ground. Because I've
Yeah,
gotten to a point now, I
exactly.
don't panic.
It's
I don't
got that
panic
carbon
anymore.
fiber strength. You've got 3D printed elements on it to protect it even further. And I also
Yeah.
see that you're running the little lens protector as well on your
Yeah.
camera. I also use that because that's the DJI system, right? You've got that
Yeah, I'm not going to
lens
beat that
cap.
up.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're first starting out, whatever you do, get somebody to print you a lens protector because you're going to beat it up. Look how beat up this thing is.
Yeah.
It's a freaking train wreck.
That's it. I got to get my printer out. I've had it sitting in the closet for 6 months.
All right, so let's get back on topic. You
But yeah,
were saying,
beginner, I guess beginner FPV stuff. Yeah, so the Tiny Hawk is a good start. The DJI FPV, I guess, is one way to get into it, but you do end up a little bit stuck in a sense that, okay, if you buy but actually both kits sort of still leave you in a weird spot, because okay, the Tiny Hawk kit, at least the Tiny Hawk 2, the controller on that one was pretty bad. Like, you really couldn't reuse it for much of anything, right? You were gonna end up buying another controller or another transmitter. It was all right for the initial Tiny Hawk experience, but then you'd have to get something else. I think the Tiny Hawk 3 has an improved transmitter, much improved. So at least that you can kind of grow with that kit. But at the end of the day, if you get something like the Tiny Hawk kit, you're going to outgrow it, right? You're going to outgrow it, and you will have to. You'll be spending money twice to some extent. You're gonna be spending money twice, which sucks. But it's hard. Do you recommend somebody go out and spend a whole bunch of money on a setup and then maybe they fly FPV and they don't like it? It's tough. It's really tough to recommend something to beginners. It really is, because there's so many
yeah,
compromises.
yeah, and John, I mean, I've been playing around with this baby hawk. Man, you got the baby hawk too, right? And you can see I've already been 3D printing as my old 3D prints arm bumpers are falling off. I'm doing a new style.
Now
So
that I had a pre-order for the Baby Hawk, it unfortunately got canceled this summer because of
that's right.
the chip shortage. Yeah, I wanted one. Yeah.
That is a super. But look, this is a $25 frame. It came with TPU and everything. And look at the size difference. This is the 3.5, and this
Yep.
we're talking 4 inch.
Yep.
And this is a no name brand, but it's called an FX4. If it ever shows, you can see it right there on
That's
the
a
top
cheap.
plate. And freaking got 4 millimeter arm, got a 2 millimeter bottom
solid.
plate. It's solid. And it came
Yeah.
with the TPU.
Yeah.
Now, this is the GEP RC. No, I'm sorry, not the GEP RC. This is the HGLRC FX4 4-inch frame. And it didn't come with any TPU. I've been printing and printing, and you can see the differences between the frames. Pretty close, but lighter. This one's going to be able to get bashed pretty much, but you're going to have to 3D print everything yourself. I mean, go into Tinkercad and do your CAD CAM stuff. So it's going to be a little bit more involved, as you can probably hearing is that, you know, once you're getting this deep you're going to be making your own parts. You're going to be fixing your own motors. Replacing
If you
this
do
and
go
that.
that far, yeah. I mean,
If you do,
there are some people that get it, and they're like, yeah, this is not really for me. Maybe they start with a little kit, and they're like, I'm not a huge fan of this. But what's kind of sad is like, if somebody starts with the Tiny Hawk kit, for example, and it's analog, that can actually be a turn off in and of itself. There's a big difference between the analog, the DJI, the HD0. I mean, it's almost like a night and day difference in that aspect. So,
yeah. And the building thing kind of goes in cycles with me too, because once I get them built, and my idea is this, John, I built two exact same ones.
see, that's a good thing to do. Have two of the exact same quad.
Two exact same ones, same bashers,
You get used to
and
it, and
you get used to it. One gets knocked out, you just put the other one in there. So that's my attitude here for the next build, because I bought two of these frames, and I think I'm going to put a video together. I already have started it, and I think I'm going to break out of my publishing slump here soon. And that's what I'm going to do, John. So I know what you're
sounds like a
saying.
plan.
Look, the Tiny Go by
Yeah,
GetRC. Oh
little
my
whoop.
gosh. This little freaking whoop's got a 4K DVR built into it.
Now that comes
And
as a kit, right? You can get the Tiny
yeah,
Go
yeah.
kit, right? Okay.
And here's a kit. I'll show it to
Yeah,
you.
show people the kit.
I'll show people the kit here. So here's the kit, guys.
Right.
It come, so you get your goggles, you get your little transmitter right
Mm-hmm.
here. It's not a bad transmitter, but it really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's locked in, and you guys remember this camcorder bags? This is what it is. A camcorder bag
Yeah.
I do
with
remember those.
dividers.
Back in the 90s there when they were huge.
And $250, you're in the game. Really good product. I've done some mods to it. I put a right-handed polarized antenna on it, because that's what I rather do. If you guys are running analog out there, if you see a lot of lines on your display, John, you could probably explain why we get lines on our display. It's the signal that's bouncing off the trees and others,
Yep. Yep.
and it comes
I,
back, and that's why you get the lines.
I used a
Right.
filter,
Yeah.
and most of it
Or the
pretty much
scratchy.
went away for the most part.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
not to backtrack, but with the remotes, like you said, man, you might as well just go buy the good one instead of
yeah,
going, because I bought this one, which hey, it worked great. Did everything I wanted to do until it came time to like do more. So and ultimately ended up having to buy this one, which I have this one and the Max, but this is the one I'm using because it's just all set up.
Right.
But you just might as well just spend the $450 and get the Crossfire and get the good remote and just do it.
I think for a lot of people, though, unfortunately, that can be intimidating, right? Because you get people who just they get it and they don't know how to pair everything together, and they're scared of having like $400, $500 worth of stuff that they can't make one thing talk to another. That is a problem, but
I had to get on TeamViewer with somebody, and they had to actually do some of that stuff for me.
right.
So I understand what you're saying. I mean, like when it came time to like pairing the Bluetooth with the tractor and getting the Bluetooth to talk to the remote and the Wi-Fi module programmed and all that stuff, I was lost, man.
Right. That's why like something like the Tiny Hawk kit is not bad, because for like what it
200
kind of
bucks, isn't it?
stings today. It kind of stings the price on the kits. I think the last time I looked at the kit was like $300
Ooh,
for
that
goggles. Well, yeah, but they did improve it though.
I
The
think it is
Tiny Hawk 3 kit
$299.
has the goggles that have a DVR. Okay, so that's a big step up from the original kit. It's got a transmitter that has real, actual gimbals. And by the way, the transmitter can be used with a simulator, and you can bind it to other quads. So that's
That's
yeah.
huge.
yeah.
So-
That transmitter having real gimbals will not break, or it shouldn't break anyway after like a few weeks of use.
Yeah, and you can see Akiracho here is asking. He wishes we had a flow chart
That's a
for
good
the
idea.
beginners. That's an
It
awesome
really is.
idea, man.
It's a
That's a
really good idea.
really good idea. And John, maybe you and I can collaborate and bounce ideas off each other. Fred,
I
Think
spent
also,
about that.
I spent thousands of dollars probably I didn't need to be honest with
Right.
you.
right? And
Because
that's
like
what we
what
want
that's the
to.
other thing too, like what somebody can start with as well is dependent on budget. Like
Right,
yeah.
right. Because do you have extra $600 for a DJI digital goggles? It's hard to
No,
say, right?
I don't.
Right.
Some
Hell
people
knows
recommend
that.
just going digital straight off or going, some people recommend that. But that's not going to be in the cards if you don't have at least $500 to budget for goggles and then
All right.
another 165 I think it is for the CADX Vista these days. I mean, you're talking a big upfront cost to do digital. So,
Yeah, I agree.
That's
So
really what
Marcus,
stopped me was switching everything I have to digital at that one. Was
yeah.
looking at like $1,000 to switch all my stuff over.
Yeah. Well, do you see what Marcus says? What WTF? What do I do with all these switches? Show me your controller again.
Oh man,
And man, if you have an airplane, you are run
I
all those
I wish
switches
I
right
had
there.
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
I wish I had
because if
a
you
couple
have
more.
dual cameras, you got all your trims, and oh my gosh, the list goes on and on with planes, right?
If you're just flying quads though, honestly, you only need like one or two of those switches. Like that's it. You don't need a whole lot. That's
That's
why I
fine
love my
too.
Tango too. I mean that's why I love that radio. What the hell is it? That's why I love my Tango too. So simple. So simple.
Yeah, and it's
Just
got
got what I need and that's
got your
it.
TBS module built in. Boom, rock
Yep.
and roll. Oh no, you got an additional module, right? I really like that
Crossfire's
controller,
built
John.
into here, but this is a Frisky multi-protocol receiver. This is so I can
Okay,
fly my whoops and whatnot. I also have Express LRS too, but that's a whole other rabbit hole that we won't even go down tonight because that'll start to really get confusing if we go down all the different protocols and all that
Yeah,
crap.
the Sai one. I've had this out so far that it was like I couldn't go out any farther.
okay.
Realistically,
Oh
it'll
yeah,
go 30 kilometers.
All
yeah.
right, I'm
It's
going to corral you cats back in. That's right. So,
I'm a s-
what radio do
There's
you
so many of them.
recommend? What radio do you recommend? Radio Master, FR Sky. What is the other F1 FR Sky?
I think we need a flow chart for this one, Al, because
Yeah.
the first question I would ask somebody is, do you like gamepad style, right? Do you like gamepads? And if you don't like little gamepads and you prefer big style, radios, people are more used to that, then I would say get something like the TBS Mambo, get the Radio Master TX16. Those are what I would recommend for somebody looking for a big radio. I hate big radios. I am glad to have moved on from my
What did you have? A Tyrannus X9D?
X9D Plus. Yeah, I have the
Yeah,
Tyrannus
that's
X9D
what I
Plus,
have.
and I have been so happy to have moved forward from that because I'm a thumber. Okay, I'm a thumber
I'm a
first of
pincher.
all. Yeah, and you're a pincher. Now you can pinch on the Tango too. You can pinch on it, but it's definitely a good radio for thumbers.
Actually, I
So
think
that's the
I'm in
other factor
between
too. You
because
got to
I
figure
think
out what do you like. What do you
my
what do you
left hand
do?
I thumb, my right hand I pinch. So it's like I'm both, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm
you can see
playing.
Maddie's thinking about buying the Radio Master Zorro, which when it gets released. So that's a good choice. I mean,
That
I've
is a good
had
choice.
some really good reviews on that product. Okay, so there you go. The flowchart starts. Do you like a game kind of controller, or do you want a boxy buttons all over the place that'll take you to the moon and back? So, um,
It really depends on how far you want to fly out, what you want to do, and I mean,
Yep,
right.
there's
absolutely.
probably 20 options for each thing you're going to say, but
Which
So
is
that
very
puts
overwhelming.
So, guys, we're talking all analog here, right? We haven't even touched the digital side yet
Hardly. Yeah.
because the digital side is very limited on what you can
it's easy
purchase.
DJI. I mean, it's
But
pretty
you
much
better open up your wallet because they're going to pick it pretty hard, right? So, $300 for the digital controller or RC from DJI, and you have $600 in the gobble. So you need about 900 to about $1,000 to get started with DJI, and then you got to buy the air unit or the Kinetic Vista
Yeah.
to put in your quad. So that's another $200. So you're
Right.
talking $1,100 to get in the game with the quad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for a good
It's not
analog,
cheap.
for a good analog camera and VTX, you're probably still talking almost $100. I would say.
For an analog for an
I
analog
mean, for that
VTX,
and the camera, you're probably,
And the camera,
probably
yeah.
pretty close. I mean,
it,
you're talking,
it would probably be more like half of that. But I will say though that if you could, the way I compare DJI goggles, I look at it as you got to compare DJI goggles against a premium analog goggle. And yeah, if you compare DJI, the fairest comparison to that would be something like the Sky Zones or the Fat Shark HDO2s. I mean, which are both like $500 goggles. So I mean, you got to look at it that way too.
Yeah, you can see the third eye view here. He likes a TX16S Radio Master.
It's a good
And it's
radio.
freaking good radio, man,
It
because
is.
it has
that's. I mean, I love mine.
It's just not what I'm looking for because I just like to have everything in a small profile. That's it. So I love that radio.
yeah, no,
But
I
it's
like
not for
that
everybody.
idea. Yeah, it's not a the DJI controller. I mean, I would love to have my DJI FPV controller for everything else, but they locked us out. It really pissed me off about that.
Yeah. I really thought that DJI would go ahead and allow that controller to be linked up to other, quads that have air units, vistas. It never happened, and it's looking like it's probably just never going to happen with the way DJI has been with development at all, honestly, on the FPV system or the FPV drone. Like they've just not done anything for over a year now, it seems.
Yeah. All right. So to keep the subject matter flowing in the right direction. All right. So let's move to the frame or to the quad. Should we start with a? You're thinking whoop. I'm thinking start with the 3.5, 4 inch frame because of my evolution. I just find that the tiny hawk uh, just too nervous of a flight.
I'm drawn to the small ones. I don't know
You're
why.
drawn to it.
I don't know why.
This
Me
three
too.
and a half incher right here costs about $300, but it's digital. Okay. So
Okay,
you have to have digital goggles.
that makes
So,
sense.
but once I got into the digital world, it was just so much easier to see and operate. I did have Fat Shark Recon V2 goggles, which were not bad goggles. They're epoxy goggles, but man, they work.
Yeah.
I've got them here now. I think they're the ones I have, Al.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are the
they work
ones I.
great.
All right, so I'm thinking 3.5, 4 inch. You're thinking whoop.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you start with something like this for your first quad, you're gonna be able to beat this up. I mean, look at it. I competed in an online whoop competition thing
Oh
where
yeah,
where you're given, you remember it, Al. I think I talked
yeah.
about it. Right. So I was in that for 18 weeks, I think, until I failed out because it got really, really hard. This is the original. This is actually the original frame. You could see it's a little worn out there. Original motors. The only thing that I had happen to it was one of the motor bells snapped, and I had to just snap back into place. But otherwise, this is pretty much all original. The connector I did have to change. That got smashed. But dude, for all the hits that this thing has taken, I'm just amazed. So the durability that you're gonna get with a ducted quad like a Whoop is just second to none. And you're with the power of the Whoops today, the tricks that these guys are able to do are just unbelievable. You are not going to be held back by having something like this. I mean, these guys are out there, they're doing trippy spins, they're doing all sorts of stuff with the Whoops. And it's harder to do some of these tricks with the ducted quads like the Whoops. But if you can master it on this, then you'll be ready to go when you want to fly something bigger. Right?
Agreed. Agree.
And you can crash this a million times over and cause very minimal damage. I mean, yeah, hell, even if I busted a motor on this, no soldering, guys. You just replace
Plug
the
and
motor
play.
plug.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
plug it. Yeah.
yeah, very, very easy to
One
work on.
thing,
And
one thing to note is know the area where you're flying because those things are so easily lost.
that's true.
You
That's
can
true.
lose. You can spend half an hour to a couple hours looking for those things. I
Absolutely.
know I have. I've gotten to a point that I call my son, "Son, I can't hear the beeper. Can you go find where this beeper's coming from?"
Because
He will
a
find it
lot of
for
them, Al, you know, they don't have beepers.
the
They
motors.
the motors make tones, and Betaflight kind of just sends pulses to them to make it beep. So they don't have an actual real beeper, and it's not very loud. So, but yeah, I love the whoops, man. They're so good for learning tricks on, and just from playing the game of whoop thing this summer, I feel way more confident to do some of the moves that we were tasked to do with my bigger quads. I'm regularly doing things now like reverse Matty flips and stuff like that. It's really not as big of a deal. I'm still iffy on the trippy spins though. That I'm still pretty reserved on, but the whoops are excellent. I really recommend people learning on that, and also you can get simulator models of of quads like this. They literally, you can go in Velocidrone and like pick this drone to fly. So they've got
Agreed.
all sorts of stuff. That's what we did for majority of the summer. Was you're tasked with something, you can go in the simulator, do the task there, and then go out in the field and do it.
All right. So,
I recommend start with whoops.
all right. So, as far as goggles, what do you recommend besides what you get in the kit? The
You,
Fat Shark. What do
you
you
know
use?
Usually
what?
work
You know what?
with
I have no
good.
problem starting with a set
Oh yeah,
of cheap box goggles. That's totally fine.
that's
Those
what.
Fat Sharks that he's got, or Eachine EV800D or DM, those are fine. The box goggles are the one thing that I say is not a waste, no matter what you get, whether you buy them separately or in the kit, because they're gonna be a ride along for somebody in the future. You know what I mean?
What do you have there, Fred? Yeah, I know you had two goggles, and you
Yeah,
started with.
He's got the Sky Zones.
Yeah, those things are nice. And then you started with the other one.
I
The
did
old,
start. I started with
Favorite.
these. Yeah, actually, I started with a just a monitor without goggles.
That's
oh
tough.
wow,
That's
that's
hard to
tough.
fly with.
Yeah, you have to
I
concentrate super hard.
I need to be in the goggles. I can't have a screen where like my eyes can wander outside of the monitor. I need to be in the freaking
I
goggles.
almost think I fly better LOS right now than I do in the goggles. I don't know why.
I probably can't fly line of sight for crap anymore, honestly. I hardly do it.
That's how I started out. I mean, I started out when I was like 9 or 10 flying
I did
airplanes with
too.
my dad, so it was like that's all we used to do.
Yeah, I mean, I used to do a lot of line of sight flying as well, but
Just gotta
now
remember it's backwards. That's it, coming at you.
barely do it anymore.
Once your mind remembers that, it's easy.
Matt started on the Eachine EV800s. Yeah, I mean, yeah, a set of box goggles to start with for $100 is never really a bad idea, honestly. Because even though you will end up getting better goggles, they're always usable for ride-alongs. Some goggles you can detach the screen and have as a spare screen. That's also a really useful feature. I think the Eachines can do that. You could detach the Eachines and the new Tiny Hawk. That's right, the new
You
Tiny
have
Hawk
a
3
little
kit.
monitor. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's never a waste. I always say a cheap set of goggles if you're just starting out and you can't spend $500 for HDO2s from Fat Shark or the Sky Zone Sky 04X V2. If you can't splurge on that and you just want to get started, totally fine flying with $100 box goggles. Totally fine.
Yeah, and you can see more Pazmir's talking about the challenges of wearing glasses. And John, you're wearing glasses, so you can speak to that. Um, you know,
Yeah. So I don't wear reading glasses. I wear, mine are just a prescription. That being said, since I don't need readers. Any box goggle I've ever put my face into works totally fine. But that is an issue. The box goggles can be an issue.
I think the Sky Zones that I just got, they're -6 to +6. So I've got mine all the way +6 on one and about halfway in the middle. So it fit my prescription.
Oh, that's really good to know. Okay, guys, it's not a cheap set of goggles, but it is one of the best on the market out there.
So the Eachine EV800DM, the M model, was actually made to accommodate glasses wearers a bit better. I couldn't fit these frames in the original EV800Ds, but the M was wide enough that I could get my frames into. So if you do have glasses, again, it's going to depend on how big or thick your frames are, but the E800DM, you should be able to fit your
and you saw the view tracer here. He was talking about the Fat Shark Scouts were also good for him. And
they are. I have a friend who flies with the Fat Shark Scouts. It's all he has for now, and he does great with them. It's a perfectly fine goggle.
So Genesee is wishing to get now school. Is that right? What are we looking at? Yeah. Yep, the Evoke. Oof, yeah, that's a sweet one.
That's an expensive one.
Yeah, expensive one, but
expensive.
It is worth the. All right. Let's see. All right, so have we missed anything on the topic, John and Fred, that you guys want to cover?
Not really. I don't know.
I think we covered most of the beginner stuff. Maybe the chat has any questions about beginner stuff. I mean, I guess to recap, if you don't want to think about binding anything together or whatever, recommend the Tiny Hawk kits, right? The Tiny Hawk's pretty easy, straightforward choice. You're not going to get the best of everything, but you're going to get something complete that will work out of the box.
So Akarashi was asking, what is the ante to get into the game? Well, if you go to the Gep RC, the Tiny Go is going to be a little bit over 300. The Emax Tiny Go 3 or the Freestyle 3 combos are going to be a little bit over $300. But it includes the controller. So you think about this, it's going to be like $100 per item. Mm-hmm. Which comes with batteries too in the kit. So
that's true. Yeah.
So it looks like Genesee's trying to set everything up to fly in the spring. So good for you.
Good.
Yeah. And so she has the DJI goggles and controller. Dang, she's ready to go. All she needs is an air unit.
And if you've got disposable income, buying the DJI FPV is totally fine too. But just know that you're going to be stuck with that setup.
Okay.
You have one when you're sending another one back.
Right. All right, guys. So with that said, you can see this. Time to hit the thumbs up buttons if you guys are still in here. Don't forget to subscribe to John Cuppi's channel and Fred's channel and the Duranify channel if you haven't already. So we've done the administrative, shameless promotions. Shall we move on to the next topic? Unless you guys want to continue this topic.
Yeah,
what's the next topic?
Drone definitely be my next build though, as soon as I can afford it.
Talking about that. Sorry about that. Look what I got, boys and girls.
What do we got?
Oh, it's signed by JB.
Ooh, the Xylo kit.
This is the Xylo kit, guys.
I didn't know they still sold those anymore.
And this is what you get in the kit. Everything you need to build it. Okay. This is an analog version. And you can see the motors. You can see all the components you need to make it.
See, that's something great because that right there kind of, for someone who wants to go the build route but isn't sure, right? they can just get something like that, and they're going to know everything in there is pretty good.
Well, I'm actually going to give this away.
Ooh,
Somebody's going to be a very happy camper.
wow.
So I bought it just for that purpose, to give it to somebody.
Very generous.
So I think that's also another way to go, guys. You get the silo kits, and the videos are how to make it are online by JB. Joshua Bardwell takes you step by step on how to build this thing. So huge plus if you want to build something on you. That right there will do it.
There's so many great videos out there too. If I mean, you get a little overwhelmed, you can definitely find your solution on YouTube. If not in like Facebook groups, there's a group for everything.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, once you get over the first initial like wow factor of it, it kind of just becomes, you know, kind of pretty easy, really, or straightforward. I don't know about easy, but
Yeah, and so Genesee is talking about building a 4 inch first, which is, I agree. I built a 2.5 inch. Oh my gosh, I drove myself batty, John.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny pieces, man, tiny solder pads, tiny everything, right?
That can really get people. Yeah. If you go with the smaller you go, the smaller you're going to have to solder with some of this stuff. And yeah, that can end up being a bad decision.
Yeah, and if you got big hands,
gotta
it's
have the
really hard to get.
magnifiers.
He's-
It's a
he's-
must. I think I probably have like 6 laying around.
yeah.
Yeah.
The micro soldering can be difficult. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, so what I wanted to tee up next is let's segue into the next topic, which is automated drones. They can
Okay.
do their own. So I'm going to subway this with a video, but let me find it first, and
Yes,
I'll show
sir.
you what I'm talking about. I got to find the videos. There are the videos. Yeah. And
Automated.
yeah, so let me see. I got to share a video, and I'm going to share this video here, guys. Open it.
Autel introduces the Evo Nest, an automatic drone charging station. Designed to keep your drone safe from the elements, the Evo Nest is equipped with a retractable canopy, a fiberglass charging board, a built-in air conditioning system, and an industrial-grade IP54 exterior resistant to dust and water. Operators can control the software remotely, planning routes and flight tasks using Autel's advanced automatic control algorithm. The Evo Nest enables drones to take off and carry out consecutive missions with no human intervention. Operators can monitor the whole process in real time and take manual control if necessary. For key inspection objects, collect relevant data through intelligent tracking and real-time thermal temperature imaging. Once operational tasks are complete, the drone will automatically return to the nest for landing, where it can be recharged and ready for its next assignment in as little as 45 minutes. The unit features overcharge protection to ensure charging safety. The EO Nest can be controlled via the cloud and transmits collected data to a remote console for timely analysis. The Evo Nest is compatible with the Evo 2 series, Evo 2 RTK series, and Evo 2 Enterprise series aircraft. Lightweight and portable, the Evo Nest can be deployed in substations, industrial parks, rooftop decks, and other sites. Simple and easy to use, the Evo Nest is capable of assisting professionals in a wide variety of fields.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, looks pretty neat.
Yeah, the Skydio 2 has the same kind of garage where it comes in and charges and extracts all your footage, all your data, and then it charges. And it's actually set up with a bunch of sensors around the facility you're at, and it will deploy automatically. Where the Evo Nest, it was kind of interesting how it flew with a cage, right? And the cage was
Yeah.
used to plug in and recharge it. So it
Right.
looks like. So, what did you think, Brett? Did you think that's going to be a game changer?
Yeah, I mean, it probably will be in 10 years. We might be able to afford one, too.
Yeah, I mean, in
I'm
terms
sure
of,
that's industrial, more
I was wondering the
industrial.
same thing. What does that cost? What is that going to cost people? Because I'm guessing that's not cheap, and probably not gonna be sold to you know,
It's not a
hobbyists.
I mean, you
yeah,
can use
it's
that
not
for a
a
wide variety of things,
consumer.
though.
Yeah,
Security, I mean, inspection. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that like big companies could use it for.
Yeah, it almost kind of scares me seeing stuff like that because that almost kind of is a problem that we have, right? That big companies want to take over the skies, so to speak, and do all these deliveries and all that fun stuff, and then they don't want our little hobby drones up there. So to see that, I'm like, ooh,
But we far
that's
outnumber them
fantastic.
to the point now where they could never stop us from flying. There's just too many drones already sold.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like, it's
They can
just
outlaw it. It would
it's
still
cool.
go on.
Just technology wise, it's cool. It's a neat thing. Is it something I would ever get? I mean, nah.
yeah.
I mean,
So
I would get one if I could afford it.
I mean, yeah. You know what? I don't know, cause like
I'll put it right up
what
on
would
my
I
roof
even
or
do with it?
something.
Like if I had it today, I don't even know what I would honestly do with it, right? Because when I go out and I take a video of something with my camera birds, I mean, part of the fun is getting the shots myself. Like I don't want to send it out and on its own and then have it come back. Like part of the fun is flying it.
Well, if you had like a vacation home or something, and you had a ton of money and you wanted to check up on your property or a big piece of
Yeah,
property or something, maybe that would be
I
something to
don't
do.
though.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't though. So
And
that's what
one
I'm
of the
saying. Like,
huge, I'm sorry, John, one of the
oh,
huge advantages about this is that the Skydio 2 can only take off with light,
right.
release light. Where the Evo product line that you guys are going to see, I'm going to share my screen, my second screen here. And you can see
Oh,
here, this guy is young and he's operating. He's the founder of the North America Autel Evo. His name is Maxwell Lee, and he's the brains behind this, guys.
right.
So he is educated in the Boston area, one of those big universities in Boston area. And so Maxwell Lee took over the general manager position at Autel Robotics. And I
Hmm.
mean, here's the Evo Nest, the Autel Evo Nest,
Okay.
and it's air conditioning, as you heard. And man, it is so he is pushing the company. Drone DJ put this out, guys, and he did a really good job on this interview with him. So if you get a minute, drop by dronedjs.com and take a look at this article. It's actually a very good article. It gives you tons of information about where
Okay.
Autel is headed, and it's really good insight on how I think it's he Maxwell Lee is definitely going to shift the corporate conversation differently, right? I mean, DJI has already done that, but DJI's got a problem here in the U.S. because of some of the groups are trying to ban it from
Right.
operating in the U.S. because of the Chinese controlling all the information collected by it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, DJ. Listen, we don't really know what's going on, but whatever the case, DJI has become a football in the whole U.S. China thing. So they don't seem like they're going to have much of a future here in terms of commercial applications,
I know, right? So,
and definitely not government, because I mean, you
not federal governments.
definitely not. Even state government, because I believe now, isn't it in Florida now? They don't want any agencies using DJI drones. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Yeah, I mean,
It's the same up
So
here.
even state level, you have to, a department needs to consider that their state may pass similar legislation.
and not, if one state does it, I think the rest of them are going to follow suit. So they got a big problem. So if
Yeah.
you have a really nice DJI drone that you like, consider not selling it. because they might not be around. Well, you probably go.
Or maybe sell it out now. Or sell it while it's still good, and switch to something else before you wake up one day and DJI is just totally banned. No, I don't think that's going to happen like
it's a
that.
supply and demand thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's just if there's not many around, the price is going to go up.
Listen, I love my Mavic Air too. I sure hope my usage of it isn't hampered, but honestly, I don't really think about it too much. I do sort of wonder how something like that is going to affect DJI FPV though, because it sure would be it sure would suck if DJI got pretty much banned, and now what happens with all that FPV gear, right? They can't get any. Imagine like if the FCC ban were to go through, for example, DJI FPV system, as far as any improvements in the future, done. That would be a done deal. There will be no V2 goggle. There won't even be, well, if they go through CADX, then maybe they could release a new air unit through them, but I mean,
Well, yeah, because I think that's what they're hedging their bets. They diverge themselves of, the FPV stuff to CADX, right? And RunCam now. So, CADX thought they were all like, oh, I got the whole pie. And then all of a sudden DJI threw in other
manufacturers.
Yeah, RunCam. So now RunCam and CADX are kind of going at it, right? And SharkBite hasn't really taken off, so
that needs some improvement anyway, from what I see.
There's been a lot of improvement over there, and I think you might see more of that over the next, honestly, over the next 3 to 6 months. There's been a lot of stuff happening with SharkBite.
Yeah,
good, because that's about when I plan on buying.
Oh, good. Well, hey, they have the 1 watt video transmitter probably coming out in the next month, and it's going to be 1 watt. It's going to come with the micro HD0 version 2, which is the really good HD0 camera that can do 4x3 and 16x9, and they're going to throw in an antenna, and I think it's going to cost only $150 for the whole thing with the antenna included. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be a very popular package.
Yeah, agreed. And you can see Maddie's talking about Foxeer is also jumping into digital.
Foxeer has the Dji site, which is available for both DJI and the SharkBite system.
Now, the SharkBite system now has a DVR, right? And remember what that's called? That's called the split, if I remember correctly. And I was considering using that because I'm so pissed off at the air unit because DJI has not fixed their bug for over a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where you go to record on the air unit DVR and it says SD card too slow.
Yep.
F that.
I don't use it because I stopped using it because of that. And I don't think they ever plan to fix it. I think they tried to fix it, but they've never truly actually fixed it, which is really unfortunate.
It worked once on one of my air units for about a month, and then it stopped working. I was like so pissed because that's the reason why I bought the thing. I mean, obviously, you get an extra antenna versus the CADX Vista, and you get a better range out of it.
RunCam Split will let you run like a DVR on your digital quads. The air unit's
$100 more, 25 milliseconds more latency added to the. So it's just not any fun.
It's not appealing. The air unit though is still good to have because it is a tank. I mean, the thing is literally a tank. So
freaking A.
Yeah. The Vista's pretty durable too, though. But I mean, that air unit is just about as durable as it can get. I mean, people friggin' ran that thing over, and it still works. I mean, no, literally, I've seen some people have their quad run over, and the air unit's the only thing still functioning. So, I mean, the thing is like a tank. But yeah, it's unfortunate, Al, that it never worked for its intended purpose, which is to give you onboard DVR because it's too unreliable. It's too freaking unreliable.
It never focuses. I only likes people, this stupid thing.
You almost got it.
Come on. Ay.
There it is.
¿Qué pasa, mamacita? Loca.
I just use the DVR as well on my DJI goggles. I don't worry about the freaking
I know the
onboard.
quality. I mean, once you see the video coming out of the SD card on the
Don't worry
DVR and
about
the
it.
area, it's so much better than the goggles, But it is what
Yeah,
it
but I
is.
mean, like, I guess it's good enough. Look, the goggle DVR is good enough for posting something to Facebook or whatever. I mean, it's better than flying, better than getting analog, right? To try to post
No,
that
yeah,
up. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, still not too bad. So I
yeah.
mean,
It's still
that's
not too bad.
it's not like you're gonna really do that much with that onboard footage anyway from the DJ. I mean, it's still gonna be the same camera, which honestly, just throw an Insta360 Go 2 or whatever on your quad. You're gonna have so much better freaking video than the air unit anyway. But it
You
would be
know,
nice if they fixed it because they should fix it, and
I mean,
that's an
that's what it
ongoing
was
theme with
marketed
DJI.
for. Yeah,
Yeah,
come on,
and
DJI, fix your stuff.
it's an ongoing problem with that system that they just are not
Yeah.
fixing or adding anything,
They know
and
people are
it's
going to buy it anyway. So,
yeah, they know people are gonna buy it
which is
anyway.
wrong. They should fix it just because of people are buying it. And there's so
Yeah,
many out there. But
I mean, it's a cash cow.
yeah.
That all the R&D cost has been recouped probably 100 times over, so they should.
Yeah, I mean, very basic stuff strikes me as a problem with DJI. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to spectate somebody flying DJI. Oh my God, what a disaster! What an absolute disaster it is.
Why?
Because okay, well, first of all, well, I won't go down the whole rabbit hole, but I tried to spectate somebody flying DJI. It took us at least like 20 minutes to even get me into spectator mode to see his goggles because his were on a slightly different firmware version than mine, and you have to make sure both of the goggles are on like the same mode, the same thing. It's very confusing. And then even when you get it all set up and going, the entire spectator mode on DJI is flawed, and I'll tell you why. The DJI system, the reason why the video is so good and has such a good picture is because the goggles transmit. They retransmit to get video data packets. That's something unique to the DJI system. The spectator goggle doesn't retransmit. So when the other pilot's flying out there and your spectator needs the data and it can't get it, it just starts blocking out. It just goes crazy. It's horrible. It's absolutely freaking horrible.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, I've run into that. The other thing is if you have, let's see, if you're running in 25 bits versus 50 megabits, look at the size of that.
that's a big
Man,
ass cat.
he hasn't missed any meals lately. Well, he's been catching a lot of mice.
That cat's not catching anything.
Not missing any
But
kids
yeah.
around the neighborhood, are you?
But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the spectator mode is just totally inherently broken, and it's just miserable to use. Just absolutely miserable.
Yeah. I've had good experiences with it and then
You
bad
have?
experience.
Surprising.
Yeah, and then bad experience. Like you said, it all depends on the goggles.
It's
But
definitely not as consistent as, say, Analog, where you just lock into the other guy's signal. It's simple, and that's it. You're done. I mean,
yeah, and if you have one of those little, Emax new goggles, you just pull the little monitor out and
yeah.
everybody can watch it together.
Yeah, and honestly, thank God for DigiView, where you can just plug in a USB-C cable and get the video out from the goggles to a tablet, because that's the better way to spectate, for someone to spectate DJI.
Yeah,
Send it
I
to a
agree.
laptop or tablet.
well, the DJI FPV, solution, you could do that through, you have that extra USB cable coming out of the side of the goggles that you could use. That you use the Fly app to see the person. That's how you run spectator mode.
Right, but on the regular FPV side, though, you can't. Yeah, you can't do that. You have to use a
DJI
third-party
FPV.
website, and
Yeah.
because DJI doesn't want us having FPV out officially and no one knows why. But
Well,
some smart people figured out how to get it out of there
we're
without
getting
their help.
close to the top of the hour, so we might have to wrap this up.
Oh,
What did you think of, guys, Fred and John? What do you guys think about the new racing league
ooh,
using T-Mobile? Have you noticed? You could like if you have a T-Mobile phone, you can actually watch
Watch the races.
exactly what that pilot is
It's pretty cool,
viewing.
yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
that is pretty crazy, man. Is that DRL doing that? Because I
Yeah.
honestly, I don't have a T-Mobile phone, so I
don't
haven't
either.
haven't heard of anything about that. To be
I'm
totally
not
sure
honest
about
with you,
it.
racing is not something I follow a lot, actually.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you got me here. I have no idea.
Yeah, and who do they drop from? A big name got dropped. Nurk. Nurk got dropped.
Nurk.
Nurk got dropped, and he's a sub. Alternate, actually, not a sub, but alternate. In case somebody gets sick, he'll jump in and fly. But Vanover is just crazy, man. Freaking. The last Rotor Ride video, remember we were talking about that, Fred, where they
Yeah.
were flying? What did you think about that?
That was pretty good. Yeah, I mean,
Vano,
they did it. I mean, it kind of looked like it was a little easier with the pad that they used versus the first setup that they had, which was key to putting that on the plane like that, really.
yeah, let me
But
see
you
if I
got to
can.
be able to fly pretty
Yeah,
good to get that on that moving target.
My friend there, Patrick, has a T-Mo phone, so we're gonna have to look into this and try it on his phone.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he says he's in the chat. Yeah, that's my friend Patrick. I fly with
Hey,
him all the
Patrick.
time. Yeah, we fly together all the time. We hang, and he's just saying he's got a T-Mo phone, so we're gonna have to check this out. I had no idea about it.
Yeah, I mean, this last video about these guys was just crazy, man. You got to watch us try to land on this plane, which is crazy. I mean, that was a really good flight. I thought it was just amazing that they were able to
They
do
just
it.
had another one out too. What was it? Two pilots, one drone, and they were both. One guy was flying the left side, and the other guy was flying the right side, and they were racing.
All right, let me stop this and I'll share.
That I did see the Rotor Riot video. The one guy they had the radio split.
All right,
gonna bump
so
this
we're
thing.
almost ready. And let me see, and this will end on this note.
We're gonna play us out with this one.
Yeah, I think we're gonna play it out.
Sounds good. Sounds good, man.
All right, and there's Nurk. He was the chase plane. I mean, the chase pilot, and Vanover is,
Wow.
and you can see there's Nurk coming up, and there's a camera on board of the plane, and here we go. This is so hard to do.
It is. It is. I have tried to do follows, and they are not fun.
Look how good these guys are flying. Nurk
These-
too.
These
Look at
guys
Nurk
are on
keeping-
point.
It's really hard to predict what the other person's going to do. I mean,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
might be thinking one thing, and they just go the other way, and next thing you know, you lost them.
A lot of it
Oh,
is
look
just
at
really good
that. There he
communication.
goes. Oh, come on, you can do it.
Oh my! Oh,
Come on, you can do it. Oh, he missed it.
he missed God, just the fact that he did it, period, is amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
These guys are just crazy.
Hey, come on, you can do it. Look at this. Yo!
So close.
You can see Drew jumping.
I
up
find
and
it just
down.
amazing enough that they can even land on the wing.
Here he comes. Come on, you can. This is the video he's seeing. Come on, that's gonna be so hard.
Yeah, that's the thing you got to remember that
Look
we're
as
looking
bad
at
as
this,
Analogue.
but
Oh, he nailed it. Look at that analog video he's looking at.
It looks like Analog, though.
And then Vanover, I think he says, "Give me the goggles. I want to see what it looks like."
I think they fly the plane with those goggles after that. He puts those goggles on and flies the plane from the drone.
Yeah, he
man,
does.
Now
And,
he's
and,
flying the plane from the drone's goggles.
and look, he's got no SD card in the goggles.
I know, that's funny.
That would have been recorded like crazy, right?
Oh, they probably got like 5 other people there that do have it in theirs.
It's just, and look at Nurk, man. He is tight on that guy, right on his sixes, man. He's not letting that guy go. Yeah, so
That is freaking
that-
amazing.
that is amazing, man. Look at those antennas on Nurk's goggles, man. That's what we need to do for FP. He's right on. Man, look how close he is. That's a flying, man.
That is crazy, man.
And then he just flies right off top. You know, he just
I will
takes
never
off.
be this I will never be this
Look,
badass.
he just fired up and took off.
Took off.
There he's gone.
Wow.
I know. That's pretty sick. All right. Well, guys.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're at the end of the video. At the end of our live stream. So I want to thank everybody for joining. I appreciate you guys hanging out this long. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to everybody's channel. John, great show. Thanks for coming. Fred, awesome. Thanks for jumping in here with me.
Al, thanks for having me. And Fred, it's good to be on with you. We had an awesome conversation.
I'll have to get with you because I need to pick your brain about some camera issues and shit that I'm having. But I'll get with you later on that.
Cool.
And everybody out there, if you need any help, don't hesitate to ask. We're willing to help. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.